This video is being pre-shot for publication on January 26, 2026 at 8 a.m. Hi everybody, I thought this year to celebrate my anniversary of seeing Crosby, Stills and Nash Young for the first time on January 26, 2000, I would do a concert remembrance of the time my mom and I went to see Crosby and Nash at the Uptown at the Uptown Theater for the first time in November of 2008. Um, Crosby, Stills and Nash were in one of their quiescent periods, and oftentimes when Crosby, Stills and Nash were in a quiescent period, David and Graham would go out as a duo. And I think this was one of those times. And luckily, they had new, or fairly new, uh, music to play for us. They were still doing some songs from their self titled 2004 album, the Crosby and Nash record. Um, and this show was very special for me because it was the first time that I had seen them as a duo, first and only time actually, and it was actually they were actually one of the duos I wanted to see, and they did a lot of rarities, songs that I had never seen them do, such as Orleans, which was a track from If I Could Only Remember My Name, which I had heard them do live before um, on the Another Stony Evening release from back in the 70s, but I had never seen them do it with my own eyes. And they did it in medley format with Graham's Cathedral record, which is kind of the way David explained Orleans was it was a song about cathedrals, and so it only made logical sense that they would do it in medley format with Graham's Cathedral. And they also did a couple from Wind on the Water, one of which I had always wanted to see them do live in a full band format. "Carry Me," which is a favorite song of David's, favorite one of my favorite songs of Uncle David's. And like I said, they did it in a full band format. Um, and I will get to the band who was in the band in a few minutes. Um, and they also did "Wasted on the Way," "Military Madness," the usual suspects at a CSN show or a CNN show or a CSNY show. And they did, uh, of course, "Wind on the Water," and which what they did, in the past, when I've seen Wind on the Water performed in the past, they've always had the footage from that the Cousteau Society put together for them, playing during the critical mass part, which I was kind of surprised that they didn't have that, but I guess they didn't have access to a video screen. And they also did Chicago, which wasn't on the printed set list. It was a request that somebody yelled out, and they went ahead and did it. Luckily, I guess they had it rehearsed and ready to go. But as far as the songs from the Crosby and Nash record, um, they did Graham's song about the Vietnam uh, memorial, which I can't remember, something wall, um, and they also did Puppeteer, um, and Lay Me Down, which was co-written by James Raymond. And as far as the band members go, they had Stevie D on drums, James Raymond, David's son on keyboards, Dean Parks on guitar, and Andrew Ford on bass. And Andrew Ford and Stevie D were part of David's other band, CPR. Um, and then at least, and then James and Stevie graduated to being in Crosby, Stills and Nash after CPR's demise. But something cool that that uh, they were doing um, they were doing at this show and other shows on that tour was that Graham was wearing a thumb or a wristband that was cleverly disguised as a thumb drive around his wrist, and it was actually recording the show. And what you were able to do was basically buy the show on a thumb drive and then take it home and burn it or do whatever, burn it to CD or do whatever it is that do to listen to music. And you know, um, I had of course, I wanted a copy of this immediately, um, and so I was lucky enough to get one. And I also got, I believe, if I remember right, David's box set Voyages and a T-shirt, and maybe Graham's box set Reflections. I don't remember. Um, but in the video, there's going to be a couple of photos and a screen recording of the set list, so you can see what all they did. And so I hope you enjoy this. By the way, this concert took place in November of 2008, and the full date will be on the screen recording. Shot and produced by Adam Barr. Video provided by WeVideo. Photos provided by Christine Bauer. Screen recording taken from Setlist FM.